Today we got two NFL player props here on PrizePicks for Sunday, January 24th, you guys. I hope everyone is doing well. We got the NFC and AFC championship games here. Before I get started, you guys, link in the description below. Hop into the Discord, $9.30 per month, 31 cents per day. Currently doing a special right now for first-time members of the Discord. 20% off your first month if you are a first-time member using the link in the description below and promo code TUFF. Again, that's where I post all the plays I'm making on PrizePicks. We have other cappers in there as well. Super positive community overall. Everyone in there just trying to help each other cash. But let's get into it, you guys. One player prop from each of these NFC, AFC championship games. Washington, Philly, Buffalo, Kansas City. It's looking like the weather is still going to be cold for both these games, but looking like no snow, which is obviously a positive. I just think more neutral type of game scripts overall. But yeah, let's not waste any time, you guys. Let's just get right into it. The first play I'm looking at here is going to be Jayden Daniels. I like his over 21.5 pass completions. 21.5 pass completions for Jayden Daniels. I was debating fantasy score here, but I think there's going to be more upside to pass completions in this matchup. Looking at this one, the Commanders are going to be 6-point road underdogs, what obviously positively correlates to Jayden Daniels having to throw the ball quite a bit in the second half. We look at this over on Outlier. Again, there's a link in the description below. You guys can get a 7-day free trial. Over on Outlier, it's a research betting tool that I do use every single day. You can see pass completions 21.5. This was at 21. It bumped to 21.5. Started at 20.5. Opened at 21.5 to 20.5 to 21.5. So you can see the line movement on this line in a short period of time. But Jayden Daniels, he's over in 8 of his last 10, averaging 21.4 pass completions. Take away this game in Dallas, that average is obviously much higher. Let's actually do this. Let's just filter this to, I don't know how to filter this, the best way to show it. But in games when at least 40 points are scored, 45 points are scored, he's over in 6 of his last 10. But crucially, he's over in 5 of his last 5, averaging 24 pass completions. Also, specifically, he has faced the Philadelphia Eagles twice this season, and he's over in both those games. 22 and 24 pass completions, and he's obviously just been heating up if you look at his last 5 games overall. Take away this game in Dallas, like I said, 24, 24, 24, and 22 pass completions. The game against Detroit, I think he would have had more, but obviously Detroit had the, I think 1 or 2, touchdowns on the defensive side of the football. So that obviously took away 2 possessions that he would have had. But I like this spot here for Jayden Daniels versus the Eagles. We look at Jayden Daniels as well over on PrizePicks. His pass attempts line is sitting at 33, and we look at Jayden Daniels as essentially this season when he's taken at least 32 pass attempts. He's over this line in 5 of 7 games when he's had at least 32 pass attempts. Sorry. We look at quarterbacks game log this season versus the Eagles, including the playoffs, with 25 plus pass attempts, and you can see a pretty decent hit rate here as well. Obviously, there's some quarterbacks that are pretty poor, but as of late, if we take this by date, I mean, Drew Lock had 22, Jordan Love had 20, and Matthew Stafford just last week had 26 pass completions against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we look at Jayden Daniels. His pass completion percentage is at the top of the league, 69.7% pass completion percentage. So, again, if he can get 30 pass attempts here, I like his odds for at least finishing with very close to 22 pass completion, sorry. And then we look at kind of how it matches up. I mean, the Eagles, over the last 8 weeks, are allowing the 6th most total pass completions to the quarterback position. And that obviously positively correlates to the Eagles being such an elite run-stopping defense. They do allow the 6th fewest yards per carry to running backs. So I do like this spot here for Jayden Daniels. Also, if we go back to Outlier, we look at the season. We filter this to when Jayden Daniels has lost. Let's just do just lost by any amount. Lost by 6 or more. He's over in 3 of 4. Over in 3 of his last 3. But if he loses plus with 6 or more, which again the spread is Philadelphia 6-point favorites. Again, 24, averaging 22 pass completion. So I do like this spot here for Jayden Daniels. I just see a must-win game. Obviously, his chance to go to the Super Bowl. He's going to be throwing that football quite a bit. Considering also as well, these last 2 playoff weeks, he's had 35 and 31 pass attempts. So I do like this spot for Jayden Daniels as the first play. Second play here is going to be a little sneaky one. It's going to be Dawson Knox, tight end for the Buffalo Bills. I like his over 3.5 fantasy score. Super interesting one here. I was doing a little bit of a deep dive. Tight ends versus the Kansas City Chiefs is kind of been a little bit of a wagon as of late. And then Dawson Knox, he's just been playing a little bit more snaps as well. We look at in that divisional game against the Buffalo Bills, Dawson Knox saw 57% of the snaps, and Dalton Kincaid only saw 51% of the snaps. And then we look at Dawson Knox in his career versus the Chiefs. He's over this line in every single game. In his career versus the Chiefs, obviously, earlier this season in a game without Dalton Kincaid, he had 8 PPR fantasy points, 4 catches for 40 yards. But 3.5 is just way too low for Dalton Kincaid. If we look at him over the course of the season, he's over this line in 8 of 18 games this season. And again, over, I think, 1.5 receptions, right? 1.5 receptions here is 7 of 18. But then we pivot and we look at his fantasy score line, which is why I'm taking fantasy over receptions. So he's over in 7 of 18, and then fantasy, he's over in 8 of 18. So a little bit higher hit rate. I think if he gets 2 catches, he's going to probably clear 3.5 fantasy score. But I like this here too because the touchdown upside. The touchdown upside here for Dawson Knox as well. He does have 3 receiving touchdowns this year on the season. And then we look at other tight ends, specifically game log, PPR fantasy score, game log this season versus the Chiefs, right? This is the course of the whole season. We have seen 17 different tight ends this season, clearly over on this line, including Dawson Knox right here at 8. I do like how he has increased snap percentage over the last couple of weeks as well. We look at him even last week, he saw in that divisional round here against the Chiefs, he saw 31 snaps. Again, if he sees, if he just sees at least 31% of snaps this week, I do like the odds given the matchup, right? The matchup is very, very strong. We look at the Chiefs this season versus the tight end position, right? Over the last 8 weeks, essentially, top 10 in targets, and then as well they are 10th highest fantasy points per game to the tight end position. Actually, let me filter this to PPR. It might be a little higher, really quickly. PPR tight end position last 8 weeks. The Kansas City Chiefs are sitting here. Yeah, 7th highest, 14.3, the highest of any best matchup of any tight end spot of these 2 games this weekend. So I do like this spot here for Dalton Kincaid over 3.5 fantasy score. 2 player props for these conference championship football games here. Check out all the links in the description below. You guys, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let's cash.